The RTL beach. It's a beautiful, slightly muggy but warm afternoon. So welcome to everybody who's here live with us on the beach, but also welcome to everyone who is dialing in and joining via our live stream. I hear it's even hotter in London and in Paris and many parts of the world. So wherever you are, if you're on the beach or you're at home or you're in the office, grab something cool and enjoy what we have to share with you today. So I'm really, really thrilled to welcome you to this fantastic panel that we have. Today, we welcome to the stage Thomas, who is the head of brand at AXA. Woo, thank you. Yes, he deserves a round of applause. We're welcoming Mario, who's the head of marketing transformation at Unilever Home Care.
Thank you.
And Anna, who is the head of insights and data analytics at Nestlé Europe. So we're here to talk about a really important topic. We're here to talk about the importance, the value of trust when it comes to brand building and creative effectiveness. But before we hear from these wonderful people, I have to introduce you to the unmissable and unmistakable colleague of mine. So those of you who don't know, this is Arno. Arno is our global head of creative development. Arno, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what's going on with brand trust and the role of AI.
That's a really good idea. Thanks a lot for the introduction, Claire. I'm very happy to be with you. And of course, as we are in Cannes and we are in 2026, we need to set the context. And the context, of course, it's something you've heard a gazillion times. It's AI. So, you know, and you've heard it from Cannes, you've heard it, from many different stages. AI is everywhere. It's changing marketing. We know, of course, it's changing market research. And more importantly, it's changing creativity. Of course, branded content, branded advertising, but also user-generated content. And just to give you a flavor of what it means for people all around the planet and for you, we're going to see two extracts from two examples, one from a very famous soda brand and another one from a very famous movie. Let's watch that.
Gather round the fire bright, with laughter echoing through the night. Each sip brings a festive cheer.
Look, kid, you won't be able to teach these fuzzballs your hokey religion. There's no all-powerful force that controls everything.
It's not about control, Han. It's about rhythm, balance. You feel it before you understand it.
Oh, yeah? And what are you teaching them exactly?
Mother always told me, be careful who you love, be careful what you do.
What in the seven hells of Hoth was that?
Okay, I don't know what you think. Thank you. I don't know what you think, but you know, with content like that, for sure, you know, AI is going to change people as much as mobile has changed people, as much as technology has changed people. And what is really clear as well is that, you know, now you cannot believe your eyes anymore about, you know, what you're having. So what can you trust? Who can you trust? I mean, it's crazy, you know, cute cats, there were something like a currency on the internet, and now you don't even trust cute cats. They are very dangerous. So it's very challenging for people. And the question is, what about brands? Can you still trust brands? And do people still trust brands? So more seriously, with Anna from Nestlé Europe, we conducted a new kind of research, a live one-day research mixing quant and qual in order to go to the bottom of this and understand how people are trusting brands versus other endorsers. Right, Anna?
Yes, thank you, Arno. Indeed, for us at Nestlé, trust is very, very important. So we've been doing another view on how we can continue building trust for our brands. So this part of research, we were amazed with a new technique, Creative Labs with Ipsos, because it's a very modern way now of doing research, augmented by AI, but with the consumer in the center. So Ipsos run it in a one day, quant, qual, and we also received the great videos from our consumers. And it was extremely reassuring for us that our path is correct, and I will share just a few highlights with you in the next few charts. So, what did we do? We've been a bit creative. We took, sorry. Before I let Lady continue, what we did, we've been creative. We are in Cannes, right? So we took 3 different claims, made up claims, and we asked people to whom they would trust to hear these food claims out of 7 different relevant endorsers. And now I would like first to let Lady talk what she thinks about trust, and then we will look into data points.
You have to be really careful these days about where you trust information. I think with the rise in social media, sometimes videos and posts and things like that can look really authentic when they're not. I tend to rely on official sources more, but even then, I think you have to accept that there's some bias and wonder if they're pushing out a message to serve their own end.
I think so. In terms of who would be most trustworthy for me would be Nestlé, Maggie, Kit Kat, and nutritionists, because you'd like to think they've got a really responsible job, and so I would feel they are the most trustworthy because they're busy representing the brand and themselves.
Okay, so we just heard real consumer talking about trust, and now a little bit of data point. So, as I mentioned, we ask people how much they would trust the claim if it's coming from different endorsers. And number 1, we see nutritionists. Nutritionists, they know. And people have still trust into nutritionists. Then it followed by journalists. Not any type of journalist, but established journalists. Journalists, they have some independency heritage, and this would put them at the 2nd place. And then, surprise, look, our brands, Nestlé brands, are number 3. Number 3, by far ahead of influencers, and also still, for now, ahead of ChatGPT. And we will go a little bit on reasons why people acting like this, but we saw it as a tremendous opportunity to continue building trust in our brands, because even through your brands, you can still yourself building trust. So, what are the driving forces behind trust? You see, we received this list of statements with pretty solid data points, and we then bucket them a little bit. So, the first one is more egg the talk. And this is about data. This is about proof in what I'm saying. This is about expertise and being comprehensive. Okay, sorry. Then another one is about transparency. And this is extremely important. Now, with these days, with social media, you don't control anymore what people talk about your brand. So you need to be transparent at every stage, from supply chain to your ingredients, to the production, then go down to the commercial and marketing. So transparency, very important to build trust. And you see here that it should be unbiased. And then the next one is credible empathy. Trust, something what brings confidence to people. Confidence into your brands, because then they bring these brands into the family. So they need to know that you're really connected to their beliefs, that you're really connected to their values, and you really understand their lives. So this is what I mentioned, the 3 key driving forces, how we bucket the drivers of trust. Exit talk, total transparency, and credible empathy. And then let's look where we are sitting as Nestlé versus other sources. You could see that we do have a role to play across all of these driving forces. So Nestlé came ahead of ChatGPT almost everywhere, except after, of course, professionals, guys, after nutritionists and established journalists. The only way ChatGPT took a lead was comprehensiveness and they're full of data and proofs. In all other dimensions, Nestlé was ahead, giving us a good hope that we, even in the times of AI, we still continue bring trust through our brands.
That's, I think, for Nestlé Nesquik Bunny popular for everyone. If you're a kid, so it tells a little story, part of childhood, part of my life now as well, because I've still got Nesquik in the cupboard. Any information from Nestlé is something that would be taken on board and not questioned on my side.
I think the way that brand conducts itself, so whether that be how it treats employees, some of the maybe charitable work or how they use some of their profits, the way in which they advertise, whether that is done in an appropriate way, whether it's done in a kind of more outlandish or brash way, I think those are some of the reasons why I'd have more trust to a brand.
I think just in terms of like their general marketing, they need to obviously be really open and honest with all their customers. They could do the ads that they put out need to be really genuine. I think they need to be really transparent and clear and honest at what their message is, and don't pretend to be something that you're not in order to get sales. You know, at the end of the day, you're trying to win people over, but you need to do that in a really clear and transparent way, not say stuff that actually isn't true, because if it comes to light that they are not practicing what they preach, then that's just going to massively ruin their reputation.
Cool, thanks a lot, Anna, and thanks a lot for the consumers testifying. I think, you know, it showcased something that we already knew, is that, you know, you can build and sustain brand trust. We know you can do it, of course, with marketing. We know already that it is at the heart of creative effectiveness. In a Misfit study, we know that credible empathy, relating to people with something that the brand can answer and in a believable way, is at the heart of effectiveness. And what's more, when you build your big ideas and your early creative that's coming from our early research, we know that actually it's not one or two of these dimensions, but when you have the three together, that actually you can connect with people with a brand answer in a credible way. And we're super lucky today to hear about some cases, right, Claire?
Yeah, thank you very much. So without further ado, Thomas, I want to hear from you. You have a wonderful, inspiring story from AXA. So I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about the importance of brand trust for your campaign.
Yes, for sure. And I apologize because I will stick to my notes to not forget anything I want to share with you. But I'm sure most of you know the campaign I'm talking about, which is the campaign called 3 Worlds, which won last year 11 or 12 prizes in Cannes, including the Grand Prix Titanium and 2 other Grand Prix. And actually, it was a surprise for us. Even we knew that we had in our hands something really powerful. And I think trust is really part of the success this campaign had.
Because a home becomes just as unhabitable in the event of violence as in the event of fire or flooding, AXA Home Insurance is evolving. It now covers emergency rehousing in the event of domestic violence. Support that can change everything. AXA.
So the campaign is the most creative awarded campaign in 2025. So it's something interesting. And maybe thank you very much. Maybe one interesting detail is that it's not a crafted campaign. It's a campaign that put all its energy in the strategy, and then the proof and the engagement of the brand to change something in people's life. So maybe a few words about trust, because that's why I'm here today. But in the insurance sector, it's really clear that everyone is in the same area, and it's really difficult to stand out from each other. So we need to work on the consideration. And to work on it, trust is a key ingredient. So our strategy, which is quite simple, as you will see, was to start with the idea that trust is not a goal, it's more a starting point. And so we moved away from broad studies, including risks and technical aspects of people's life, and we dig into more intimate and personal fears of people. And so we tried to understand the things that kept them up at night. And this is the starting point of all our strategy today. So then we tried to focus on being the most empathetic as possible. And so empathy is one of the key for trust. And that's how we uncovered new risks, like domestic violence, of course, but also like school bullying, like financial insecurity, and many others. And maybe one also idea about that is, I think there is two categories of brands trying to create trust and intimate relation with people. The first one tried to be in the entertainment to show a world that is brighter. That's great, but for insurance it's pretty tough to do this. So we tried the second path, which is to be the most useful brand in people's life and act on something that can really change life of people. And this is a good example of this strategy. Then maybe a few words about the campaign, because impact is also really important in our businesses, and trust, I think, is really highlighted when impact is here. So the brand consideration of AXA jumped from the 5th place to the first one in the following months after the campaign. And more important, I think, the topic became a very collective pride for employees, but also an employer brand asset. And then it's also linked to B2C and B2B successes, meaning new contracts and a business that is really, really good. So it's an holistic success, and I think trust can lead to something that is more than just communication. So to conclude, only few words about the fact that trust is very hard to be built, but it's also very easy to break. So let's do together I'm sorry, I don't find the way in English to say it, but we have to be bold, but we also have to be very responsible in our boldness. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, Thomas. Great.
I'm now going to hand over to Mario, but before I do, we just had a round of applause for Thomas, but we need to give 2 rounds of applause because we have 2 Lions Awards for this campaign that we're about to hear about just this week, and it's only Wednesday, so congratulations, Mario, in advance.
Thank you so much. So I don't have any videos or any fancy slides. I just have the campaign board. I'll build trust with you guys, so you're going to have to pay attention to me. When Arnaud and Claire asked me about a campaign that was a good example of building trust with consumers, my mind went straight into It Starts Outside. It's a campaign from Dirt is Good, which is the largest laundry brand outside of the US. In the UK is known as Persil. In France is known as Skip. And it's a brand that's talking about walking the talk. It's been rooted in outdoor play for the past 20 plus years. The campaign is a very simple, starts from a very simple insight actually. 1/3 of girls, young girls in the UK, are less likely to play outside than their parents. And actually, when you look at the stats, 22% of girls are less likely than boys to play outdoor. This is because, of course, the rise of social media, the rise of platforms, the rise of screens. And by not playing outside, they miss out, of course, on many important lessons to actually and values that they need to hold on to grow and be raised in the right way, as you guys probably know. So the campaign was in partnership with Arsenal Football Club, with which the brand has been partnering for the past 3 years. And the campaign execution was very simple. We actually asked 4 Arsenal football players from the female team if they were willing to share some pictures of them playing outside when they were kids. The pictures became out-of-home and print ads with a very simple tagline: "It starts outside." It's a tagline that, again, talking about building credible empathy, I think resonates with most parents here. This idea of actually being outside, be free to play, learn new lessons that otherwise screens are not able to actually replicate is very important. And I also want to add, there's an element of nostalgia to this campaign, which I think is helping the idea of building trust. We heard a lot in Cannes about this topic. A lot of brands are tapping into here and into this specific trend. I think it's also fair to highlight something, though. I don't think this comes at the cost of AI. In this case, the campaign had no usage of artificial intelligence whatsoever, okay? So in that sense, it was truly authentic. These are literally the family pictures of the players. We even interviewed Alessia Russo's father to actually validate what the campaign was all about. And I think, you know, AI can play a role even in a campaign like this. It might not be in the generation of the creative, because then, of course, you lose the trust of the consumers. But it could be in, for example, generating impressions that otherwise your media investment would not be able to produce. I think it's about realizing where AI can play a role and where AI needs to be at the front and center of the stage. And I think in this campaign, AI had no place to play, really, when you look at the creative and the simplicity of the execution. But could it have played a role in the research aspect, in the insight generation, for sure? Could it have played a role from a media standpoint as well? Maybe some specific targeting, I don't know, to areas in London where families gather, schools, I don't know, that's a possibility. So I think it's about finding the right balance. And yeah, that was it from me. I hope you enjoyed and liked it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mario. I saw lots of people nodding along in the crowd. I think a lot of us feel very passionately about that. I have 2 daughters, so it really tugs at my heartstrings. Anna, please tell us about your really heartfelt story as well. Thank you.
Yeah. I would like to talk about our Nescafé campaign in Spain, which been on air for 40 years. So consistently, and this is one of the levers how we managed to build trust. So I would like quickly to take you through the video first, and then we will talk about
Hace 40 años las cosas eran un poco distintas a como son ahora. El papel de las mujeres en la sociedad ha cambiado. Ha subido el coste de la vida, si incluso cambiamos de moneda. Superamos crisis muy profundas y salimos de ellas sabiendo que los sueños son muy importantes, porque a veces se cumplen. Y es entonces cuando uno puede llegar a donde quiera, a dedicarse a lo que le haga más feliz. En Nescafé hemos vivido todo eso. En 40 años hemos transformado 40 vidas. Con nuestro sueldo para toda la vida hemos repartido alegría, serenidad y tranquilidad para enfrentar el futuro. Hemos cumplido unos cuantos sueños. Hemos eliminado algunas preocupaciones y dado alas a proyectos que quizás sin él no se hubieran hecho realidad. En 40 años pueden haber cambiado muchas cosas, pero la emoción es exactamente la misma que la del primer día. 40 años, 40 vidas de sueños cumplidos. Y aquí seguimos, para toda la vida.
I want to win.
Yeah, it's very emotional one. So it's also started from a similar insight we already heard today in AXA example that some housewives staying at home 40 years ago, they felt quite insecure with their income. So Nescafe started from that start point that we offer the campaign that this woman could participate and win a salary for life. And then with the success, with the different crises, it became more universal. It was not more targeting only for the wives staying at home. And then consistently, every year, Nescafe were activating this campaign, and every year we were giving to one person salary for entire life. It's been awarded also in EFI as the most sustained campaign in one of these 40 years. And basically, you saw, it started from the credible insights and credible empathy. Indeed, if you are there, don't just talk, do something for me, do something for the community around. Help and show me that you understand my life. And this is how Nescafe campaign was successful, with the connection to consumers. And you saw, we indeed helped and improved people's life. There was someone being really sick, for example, in one of those winners, and it really changed the life for the person. There was someone losing the job and having 3 kids or something like this and being extremely worried. And this campaign really saved these people. Step by step, it's only 40, but we keep going with this campaign. And results are tremendous. So Nescafe is #1 highest brand equity in Spain in a pretty competitive environment. And despite all this year's crises, because of the consistency, because of us delivering the promise, the situation didn't change. We're still #1 trusted brand, and we're still a leadership brand in Spain. And then loyalty, of course. People are extremely loyal. #1 brand from a loyalty standpoint. And overall, 25% of the coffee drinkers in Spain saying that they are loyal to Nescafe. For those of you who works with data, as I do every day, 25% is pretty high level of loyalty. Not many brands can enjoy. And then we start seeing that we're recruiting youngsters because they've been grown up, they've been born when this campaign was on air. They know that it's true, and then they also becoming loyal and start choosing Nescafe. So apart from being a meaningful brand in consumer life, we also building the business.
Thank you.
I think this is just repeating on what we already talked today. That we bring better food, better life, and better planet to life through credible empathy, acting the talk, and being transparent. No one perfect. We do the mistakes as well, but we are honest about it, and we are admitting the mistakes, and keep going. And this is what consumer appreciating and giving us trust.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Anna.
Thank you so much to our panel for your stories today. Really, really appreciate it. Don't go anywhere. Do not move, because we have another fantastic panel coming up shortly. We've heard brilliant stories from our panel. We're going to hear more about creative storytelling in just a moment from my colleagues Sean, Adam, and the team. But before we do, my colleague Arno cannot leave the stage without a bit of a show. We've been talking about walking the talk, so Arno, over to you to close.
Yeah, so we do have a secret weapon for you in order to find trust, and that secret weapon is here, which is exactly what I'm going to demonstrate doing. And as you can see, it was not rehearsed. Which is basically, if you want to be successful and build trust, you need to get in the shoes of people to build credible empathy. And if you click through, it's best to start early. Actually, we have data that shows that when you find and explore how you can connect meaningfully with people, finding the right angle to connect and do that relatable brand answer that has been demonstrated by AXA, by Unilever, and by Nestlé, you are much more successful, and you have a much stronger campaign foundation to be successful. And that's the first part. But the second part, as you are going to uncover now with Adam, Sean, Sojourn Egerty, and Lucinda from Uber, the second part is telling a great story. So over to you guys, and I hope you enjoyed that talk, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.